Hello everyone, how's it going? I am Louis the Average Guy 1983. Today is Friday, September 26, 2025, and it's around 1:32 p.m. Right now the sky is very gloomy. It's about 72 degrees, and I felt like it would be like the perfect weather to take out the e-bike for an official range test. I have the Rattan LM Ultra here, which has been a pretty decent bike for the most part. I do have 20 miles in on the odometer from the times that I took it out for a ride and testing. There was a couple of problems that was going on with it. Number one was the motor was cutting in and out of power with the original controller, and it turns out that the original controller had a problem. So Rattan stepped up their game and they sent me a replacement controller, and now the e-bike seems to be working fine. I basically have the power only cutting off when the e-bike reaches about 33 miles per hour under the display, and it makes sense because the e-bike has a restriction of speed at 32 miles per hour. So I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons why the power cuts off automatically. As soon as it drops down below like 31 or 30 miles an hour, the e-bike regains its power again to the motor, and it continues to go. And again, once it reaches 33.5-ish, it goes back off again. So that's just something to take into account. So don't be concerned if you have one of these already and the motor power cuts off randomly. It's most likely a safety feature. With that said, I did want to mention that this e-bike does have a weight tolerance of 300 pounds for a rider. I'm 288 pounds, so I am within the 300-pound limit. So we're going to be seeing what this bike does range-wise in Pedal Assist 5. I will be pedal assisting it. I do have my shifter gear set at gear 4 out of 7, as I find that the most comfortable for my knee as well, since I do have a bad knee from the scooter accident. And I figured I would just, bring that up. So this way you guys are aware if there's any changes to the range and we're not getting exactly 120 miles of range like it's advertised, is because number one, the speed I'm planning on going, number two, my weight, and number three, any accessories I may have added to the e-bike that may or may not affect the range as well as the top speed. With that said, let me show you guys some of the things that I've done. So you guys can see right here, I added the Ultraverse Road Dominator tires. These are fantastic tires, guys. I have these on my Road Emma 3.0, and they're wonderful heavy duty tires. If you are in need of new tires, and I'm not being sponsored by these guys, I recommend the Ultraverse Road Dominators. They're great tires. They actually have a very thick coating at the top, so they feel almost like motorcycle grade tires. It's freaking insane versus the stock tires. But because I changed these tires to heavier duty tires, right, as well as the inner tubes were also changed to the Ultraverse heavy duty tubes, which are about double the thickness of the original tubes, to try to help prevent flats as much as possible. This did reduce my speed from the top speed that you seen on the last video of 33 miles per hour down to 32 miles per hour, which for me, losing 1 mile of speed and having peace of mind of not getting a puncture is more than enough for me when it comes to safety. Another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the controller. The reason why it took long to make this video is because the original controller had a defect where the motor power was cutting in and out at random speeds. The company went ahead and they sent me a replacement controller, which is down in that box right there in the middle, and I was able to replace it, and now the speed only cuts off at its maximum speed of like 33 miles per hour on the display. It momentarily cuts off to save power, and then once it reaches down to about 31 or 30 miles an hour, the power cuts back on, and it brings me back up to the top speed of about 33 miles per hour based on the display. However, this realistically under GPS goes 32 miles an hour now. So I just wanted to bring that up. I also put in some sound deadening material from my car audio days into the inner box there, so that this way the controller doesn't start banging back and forth inside of that box. I do kind of wish Rattan would either pre-drill some holes underneath the bike to have a way to put some zip ties on the controller and prevent it from smacking around inside of that box when we go over any kind of rough terrains at high speeds. Another mod that I did that you guys can probably see here is I added zip ties, heavy duty zip ties to the front of the battery or the top side, because of the fact that the battery was also jumping up and down, and I wasn't sure if that was the reason why the power was cutting off from the motor. And I went ahead and I did this, and now there is no more clank sounds that are coming out of this bike, which I appreciate a lot. And I don't have any intentions of removing this battery. It's very easy to charge as well as remove if you have to. I do have to cut the zip ties off if I have to do that, but I figured I will let you guys know that this is some of the things that I had to do to stop the bike from making clank sounds and make it have more of a premium feel than a mid-level e-bike, which it is. Another thing that I did here was I added a basket. Instead of the rear passenger seat, I swapped it out for a basket to be able to add accessories if needed, and a larger size seat. Right here you guys can see that I have upgraded handlebar grips, motorcycle grade horn, turn signals, a quad lock for my smartphone, and also a dash cam, because to me a dash cam is needed on the side of the speaker there. And that speaker that you see right there is the JBL Xtreme 4. In the back I have the rear camera as well as the wireless turn signals that you guys have seen me advertise for the Navi ST3 Pro, and now they're on this bike permanently. In the front you can see the motorcycle grade horn, which works as an alarm combo if you activate it with the key fob, the front turn signal, and the front dash cam camera. Inside of this bag we have the battery for the LBW dash cam, and I have two mounting bars to be able to have the dash cam as well as the Acrunu light on for nighttime riding. I also put on some silicone grips for the brake levers to make it more comfortable to be able to like feel more in control of the brakes. And I have adjusted the brakes in the front and in the rear to make sure that they work well. So now that I talked to you guys about all of this stuff, like I said before, this may or may not affect the performance of the e-bike. I'm not sure how that's going to go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take off and see what we can get. We do have full power on the battery, and we do have the tires set to 36 psi for the front and rear tires. Let's get going, ladies and gents. Alrighty guys, so one thing I wanted to mention about this e-bike is that it does have a cadence sensor, which is kind of like a square wave controller if you're a scooter guy. So it just goes from 0 to 100% power the moment you hit the throttle, and it doesn't matter how soft you go on the throttle or even on the pedal assist, it's still going to want to go to 100% power versus a torque sensor, which is more like a sine wave controller. I do have some tools in my backpack in case it's needed to maintenance the bike on the spot. We are going to remain on the right side as much as possible, and also pedal assist the e-bike in the beginning when we take off from a 0 speed. Alright, that's about as fast as I can go when it comes to pedal assist. And we will see how many miles I can get as a 288-pound rider on the Rattan LM Ultra. The range will be different per person, man. It's not going to be the same for everyone, but if you are within my weight limit, then this will be ideal for you to watch, and then determine for yourself if this e-bike is something that would be on your purchasing list. So right now we are cutting at about 29 to 30 miles an hour. The motor's still running though, just keep that in mind, it's still running. And we are going a slight incline. So since I'm in Pasadena, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video here, and what I'll do is update you guys once we reach a good distance away, so I can update you guys on the miles, because right now on the trip information we have exactly 1 mile in. So I'll make the video as short as possible so you guys can like basically get to the point. Alrighty guys, here we go. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we have 7.5 miles in on this ride. We are in San Gabriel Boulevard and Las Tunas Drive in San Gabriel Valley. Once you reach Alhambra, up to about Irwindale area, it is considered a danger zone for e-bike riders and scooter riders. So my recommendation to you guys is to keep your head on a swivel, because the drivers in this area are really stupid and negligent when it comes to the safety of others and their own safety. So when you have the opportunity, always try to do your best to get on the bike lane if there is one that exists, like right now, or remain on the right lane as much as possible if there isn't a bike lane to ride on. It is very important to do that, especially if you don't have a front and rear dash cam like I do in my PEVs. I have a dash cam on almost every PEV that I own, and it's for the purpose of protecting myself from other drivers. With that said, my friends, we've been doing pretty good. The display does say that we're still at 100%, but I know that we're not. Unfortunately, this display does not show battery percentage, so it does kind of suck that we can't see that, because that will be an easier way of guiding myself with the battery chart. But we're gonna see again, you know, like how far can this bike go on basically 80% throttle and 20% pedal assist. Basically, I'm pedal assisting the bike from a complete stop all the way up to about 20 miles an hour, and then I stop pedal assisting it, and then I let the throttle take over. So we'll see how things go, and I'll update you guys again once we get towards the Irwindale area, and hopefully I make it there safely, and then we'll start riding back. Alrighty guys. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and we have 16.6 miles in, and we made it all the way to the city of Irwindale. We're now about to get access to the Santa Fe Dam recreation area, and usually when I get to the Santa Fe Dam, we officially have about 17 miles in on this ride. So we are on the Santa Fe Dam / Azusa Canyon Road and Arrow Highway. So basically, Las Tunas Drive now has turned into Arrow Highway. So yeah, right now we've been riding between like 25 to about 31 miles per hour when it comes to the speed of the e-bike, and I noticed that at around 31.6 the speed of the e-bike cuts off when it comes to the motor power, and then it goes down to about 29.6, 29.9, and then the motor power cuts right back in and starts getting you back up to speed again, and then it repeats like on a loop. So again, because of the fact that Rattan e-bikes didn't get back to me on the video that I showed them where the power was cutting in and out like this, at least now on higher speeds instead of the old controller that was cutting in and out, now I wanted to see like just how much of this thing does this. Like right now we're doing pedal assist with power, and it seems to be doing good at about 14 miles per hour here going up this steep hill. So not bad at this point. So let's go ahead and keep going. We're going to go ahead and take the Santa Fe Dam route and do basically, like I said before, 80% throttle to 20% pedal assist. This is just to get it to move and not waste too much battery, because that's one thing about all like PEVs when it comes to how much power your e-bike, electric scooter, etc. consumes is based on the takeoff speed. So if you have a more relaxed acceleration at takeoff from a zero stop, then you'll have like a little bit more range on your PEV than it is to have full power. And that's another thing about certain like scooters and even e-bikes. You gotta give your e-bikes and scooters like a bit time of resting, so that this way your motors or your controllers do not overheat, because there is no like internal cooling especially for the controllers. So that's just something to take into account. Even the battery, there's no built-in cooling fan or water cooling of any kind on most scooters and e-bikes. The only scooter that I know of that actually has now adapted into the water cooling is actually the Yume Predator. That's the only electric scooter that I know of that supports water cooling for the controllers, and I think that Yume was very smart for doing that. So alright guys, so we have 17.7 miles in on this ride, as you guys can see there. So we're gonna keep going on this ride, and we'll see where the battery stands. Right now it says that we're at 80% battery, and as you can see, we're doing about 27.2 miles an hour on the display. Now whatever the GPS is on the screen, and that's if it's working, that's most likely what we're really doing realistically. But yeah man, so far no issues whatsoever regarding having a flat or anything like that. So far everything has been working. I did want to mention though that the front fork does bottom out, and it's because one, it's not adjustable, and two, the front fork is a little bit on the short side. So you know, just keep that in mind if you're planning on picking one of these up. But so far man, it's actually proven to be pretty good acceleration wise. Alrighty ladies and gentlemen, and we're almost reaching the ending trail of the bike path here at the Santa Fe Dam. We're doing about 25.7 miles give or take based on the display information. So it's pretty cool that we're reaching that point, and the e-bike has been surprisingly doing pretty good. The percentage on the display shows 80% battery life. Obviously it's not really 80, I'm pretty sure it's in the lower 70s, but yeah, the bike has been doing pretty good. Again, the power does cut out on the motor when it reaches about 31.6 miles per hour, and then when the battery, or not the battery but the motor, goes down in speed to about 29.6 to 29.9, the motor power cuts right back in, and it starts to give you more power again. And then once it reaches 31.6 miles again, the power cuts off. So it's like almost like it's on loop when it comes to its power. Maybe it does it, you know, to conserve power, I don't know. But you know, I did try to reach out to Rattan e-bikes about this, and I even sent them a personal video that they had requested, and it was like over a week and they still haven't responded back. They probably gave up on me. So I decided to just, you know, go ahead and do this range test video and just be 100% honest with you guys about the whole experience. So yeah man, so far we're almost reaching the end. We got 22.9 miles in so far, and we are almost reaching the end. Once we reach the end here, I'll give you guys a total mileage. But again man, the e-bike has been doing pretty good so far man. I think that a lot has to do with the weight of the bike in total. Like, it's literally 86 pounds with the battery man, so it's actually quite light compared to the Road Emma 3.0, which is a heavier duty bike. But then again, this bike is meant for riders up to 300 pounds. So here we go guys, we made it to the end of the trail, and we got 23.2 miles in so far on this ride. This is it right here, my friends. So alrighty, so 23.2 times 2 is about 46 miles or so, give or take, riding back. So we're gonna start riding back and see how it does. And considering that it is 48 volts, 40.5 amp hours on the battery, we should see how it does. I'll let you guys know how I did acceleration wise. So let me go ahead and start heading back home, and we'll see how it does. But so far it's done wonderful. It is at 80%. Let me double check the battery here. This way I can go ahead and cut the camera here and look at my video footage. Okay, see, no, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but it shows that we have 3 battery icons remaining, so it is around the 80%. So yeah, not so bad guys. We did make it all the way over here, and let me go ahead and cut off the button here for the turn signals. And again, I forgot to show you guys the turn signals, huh? Let me show you guys real quick. So this is what it looks like from the front. So you guys can see that even in the daytime, the turn signals are visible for people to see. Here's the back side. See that? So I did a lot of good modifications to make this e-bike street legal. And in some areas of different countries, you're required to have a license for this because of the speed that it can go. But this is a category 2 e-bike. Again, you know, the price is pretty well, and you can literally save $100 on this e-bike with my discount code TAG193. However, what supports my channel is when you actually click on the link, because the link is what gives me the credit. The discount code is what gives you your discount code. The discount code won't work for me to give me credit unless you actually use the link. So with that said, let me go ahead and cut off the video here. I'll start riding my way back home, and I'll give you guys the total mileage on the display. I want to make sure that the e-bike doesn't turn off. Even if it does, the cool part about this e-bike is that the trip information will not reset. So if the battery does die, if I charge it for a little bit and then I turn the e-bike back on, it will let me know what the total range was before the battery died. So that's really convenient. You can't do that with the EMA 3.0 because every time you turn off the display and turn it back on, the trip information resets. So let me go ahead and cut the video here, guys, and we'll get going. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, the motor officially stopped running already. We're on Avenue 57 and York Boulevard. We got 49.8 miles of range before the display officially turned off on me and cut the power to the motors. It literally says 8%, which I'm pretty sure is 0, but you can see the icon right there, literally just blinking. There you go. So 49.8, we're calling it basically 50 miles of range. If you have it at 100% battery life, again, tire pressure for the front and the rear motor, 36 psi. And yeah, man, if I wouldn't have brought my backpack and tools, I probably could have squeezed in the 50 miles of range. So we'll call it at 50, even though it says 49.8. It's only 0.2 miles away from reaching 50 miles. So I'm going to go ahead and power off the bike. The reason why I sound out of breath is because I tried pedaling it with the power off. And though gear 1 is the easiest pedaling to do on the e-bike, it's still a bit of a struggle to get it to go, because it is 86 pounds. It's not a lightweight mountain bike at under 30 pounds. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk it the rest of the way home, and I'll go ahead and give you guys my thoughts on the e-bike, and we'll go from there. So this way I can go ahead and take off this helmet and get some air, because I'm sweating like crazy. But yeah, man, alrighty guys, let me meet you guys in the basement, and we'll talk about it. Alrighty, my friends, and we're back in the basement, and I wanted to give you guys my honest opinion about the Rattan LM Ultra after taking it out for a range test, and just giving you guys the overall feel for the whole bike. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the acceleration first. The acceleration was not super punchy, but it was pretty good for like riding on the road. It actually did its job, especially with pedal assisting it. It did fantastic, and by my surprise, it actually kept the same like amount of acceleration from 100% battery down to 20% battery life. And I thought that was really impressive, because on the Road EMA 3.0, when it reaches 70% battery life, the acceleration reduces significantly, where you really have to do a lot of pedal assisting just to get it to move. So that's just something to take into account. But again, this is like taking it out on the road with actual traffic. If you're just riding like in a bike lane, around the park or something like that, and you have that low of a voltage, it's not going to matter. But if you're like me and you ride with the flow of traffic, literally with cars, then yeah, acceleration is very important for any kind of PB. It doesn't matter if it's an e-bike, if it's a scooter, or whatever the hell it is. Acceleration, the 0 to 30, really matters. Now, when it comes to the range, I was so close to 50 miles of range, and I think that I could have achieved it if I wouldn't have brought my backpack with all the tools that I thought I was going to need. So in my backpack, which is a Motoloop backpack, I had a bunch of tools, from Allen keys to a 1/2-inch socket wrench with the little sockets for the front and the rear wheel because they're different sizes. I also had tire spoons in there. I had an air pump, and I had like a sweater, and also my 64-ounce jug of water. So it was a very heavy backpack. So I feel that if I wouldn't have brought it, I could have gotten 50 miles of range instead of 49.8 miles of range, because it was just literally 0.2 miles away from reaching 50 miles. Another thing they could have done it, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, was that I added accessories, and I also changed out a couple of things like the tires. The tires are heavier, the tubes were thicker, so that could have played a little bit in the range. And if I would have done it with the stock tires, that, you know, considering that they're lighter, maybe I could have gotten like 50 or 52 miles of range, maybe just a bit more. But because of the areas where I was riding in, basically like industrial areas like Irwindale, there's a lot of like road debris there when it comes to broken glass, sharp rocks and pebbles, and anything could have easily punctured through those soft stock tires. And that's why I felt that was important that before I even try to do this range test video, that I change out the tires to something of a high quality like the Ultraverse Road Dominators. And that's exactly what I did before I decided to do this range test. For me, 50 miles of range is more than enough, especially at the speeds that you guys were able to see. So very impressive. Good job, Rattan, on that, because it basically outperformed the Road Emma 3.0 when it comes to the actual like acceleration. So that was really cool. And on top of that, the Ebike is lighter. 86 pounds on the LM Ultra versus about 130 pounds on the Emma 3.0. So that's just, you know, something to take into account. As for the hill climb, it did pretty good. I kept it in basically gear 4 when it came to the actual like Shimano shifter thingy. I left it there for the majority of the time. So it did really good with power. Like, it had no problems taking off from a 0 to start, you know, so it was really, really good. Now, when it comes to charging the e-bike, the company says that they're providing you with a 4.5 amp hour charger. Now, charging 40.5 amps on a battery with a 4.5 amp charger, you would technically get done around 9 hours, give or take, right? Well, unfortunately, it took 10 hours and 15 minutes for the battery to fully charge from the critical state where it was at all the way to 100%. And when you divide that within that time frame, it's actually 4. So that means that the charger was actually charging at 4 amps instead of 4.5 amps. So for me, it's not a deal breaker, because I do have a PidZoom charger that I can try using, and maybe I'll increase the ampage to maybe 5 or even 6 amps and charge a little bit faster. I just wanted to mention this for the Rattan company, because obviously, you know, you as a manufacturer purchase these chargers from a different company. So if this company that you guys purchase the chargers from is telling you 4.5, but it's really doing 4 amps, then maybe it's something that you guys need to, you know, talk to them about and try to fix that. Another thing that I wanted to mention to you guys here at Rattan was that the charger gets really, really hot. And I think it would be a good idea if you guys can find a different charger that can be used, even if you leave it at 4 amps, but that has a built-in cooling fan. This way, when the battery is charging and the let's pretend that this is a charger, air can be coming in from one side and coming out the other side. So this way it keeps the components inside of the charger as cool as possible, so you don't have to worry about having overheating problems and possibly the charger breaking and needing to cover a charger for a customer at your expense because the products are under warranty for a year. So this is just some feedback that I'm giving you guys as an influencer. And obviously, you know, you guys sponsored me for the bike, so I'm very grateful for that. And I apologize for taking long for making this video, because I did break my toe with the Emma 3.0 bike. So yeah, I just figured I would just bring that up. So with that said, man, the experience was really good. I like the bike a lot, and I'm going to try to use it in the same group rides that I did with Glendale PV on the Emma 3.0, because I want to see how it does with the hill climb. Will it do better than the Emma 3.0? That's another thing that I want to find out for myself and then just report back to you guys. Alrighty, my friends, so I'm going to start wrapping this up. If you guys would like to purchase the Rattan LM Ultra after watching my video and seeing how much, range I got and the whole results of the performance and everything, please consider using my link in the description, because when you click on that link and you place an order for a Rattan LM Ultra, the credit for the sale comes directly to me, which allows me to be trusted with Rattan later in the future with a new product for them to send my way to review and me to advertise to you guys. And in return, you guys are able to use my discount code TAG193 to save an additional $100. So we both win at the same time. So with that said, my friends, if you guys have any questions about the Rattan LM Ultra, something that I may have not mentioned that I just couldn't think about at the moment that you're wondering about, please be sure to comment down below, and I will do my best to answer your question as soon as I am able to. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be seeing you guys on the next video. Peace for now, guys.